guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to put on these new nails while I answer all of your questions about pregnancy number 3. First, I need to open these all up. I need to get everything situated. Also, these are gonna be so long. These are definitely longer than I usually do for nails, but I don't know, they were cute. Oh no, I already knocked them all off. I'm super overstimulated today, so just bear with me. I forgot there's also literally paint all over me. Oops. Okay, so first things first, I need to sort all the nails. People ask me about my nails all the time. I literally always use the Kiss brand. That I think once or twice I've tried a different brand and they just didn't stay the same for me. They weren't the same quality. I really like the Kiss brand. They last for a while for me typically. Okay, so there's both of the thumbs. Next I'll pick out the pinkies because that's also easy. I'm actually finding these really quickly this time. Got all the nails situated. Now is the easy part and I can just start answering your questions. I put a question box on my story 2 different days. So I just screenshotted all of the responses from that and I'm going to try to consolidate because a lot of you asked the same things. So if I don't pick your specific response, I'm sorry. It's just because somebody else asked the same thing. I don't even know where to start. I feel like it's been so long since I've done a Q&A. I don't even know what I'm doing. So Cheyenne asked, how did y'all tell the boys they were going to be big brothers? It wasn't really a big extravagant thing. We just told them. Graham doesn't really understand, I don't think. Bentley understands and he's very excited about it. And he talks about it a lot and he tells everybody that there's a baby growing in mommy's belly. And it's really been a different experience this time with Bentley anyways, because he was only a baby whenever I got pregnant with Graham. So this time with his age and everything, he's understanding so much more. So it's been really fun to just witness that and witness the way that he's, I don't know, bonding with the baby as I'm pregnant. It's been really cool. Graham doesn't really understand in the same way. Sometimes he'll put his hand on my stomach or he'll point and say baby. Maybe he understands a little bit, but definitely not to the same extent as Bentley. But it's been really cool. I've really been liking having this age while pregnant, if that makes any sense. Bree asked, how do you manage your time with a toddler / newborn? I have a 3-year-old that I'm due in September. So I barely remember. I feel like it's been so long since I had a toddler and a newborn. And honestly, the toddler that I had when I had a newborn was barely a toddler. He was still such a baby because he was literally he had just turned 1. He was 15 months old when I had Graham. So I don't feel like I really was in the toddlerhood. Having a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old while I have a newborn is going to be an absolute trip. I'm a little bit worried about it. So I'm just going to circle back to that. I'll let you know. I'm obviously always documenting my life and my struggles and my wins and all of it. So you'll definitely be able to see what my life is like with 2 toddlers and a newborn. But I feel like my transition from 1 to 2 was not as bad as my transition from 0 to 1. But I also feel like I have a biased opinion because I had postpartum depression after my first baby and I didn't have it after my second baby. So my experience was just so different and my perspectives were so different. So I don't know that I have the best answer for that. Okay, Cheyenne also asked, does baby already have a name? Yes and no. For a while we thought we knew the name, but now I'm kind of second guessing it and I don't know. I just don't know if it fits. It doesn't feel like it fits. I don't know. It's hard to even talk about this because you guys don't know the gender yet. So once I figure out how to announce the gender, then it'll be easier to talk about name stuff. But right now I just don't know. I'm torn. I really was confident about the name for a little bit and told my mom, told my friends, told Charles's mom, but now I'm just kind of second guessing it. I just don't know if it really fits our family vibe and our family names. I just don't know. Literally a million people have asked if I'm gonna do a gender reveal, if I know the gender, yada yada. Yes, we know the gender. Yes, I'm gonna do a gender announcement. I'm not doing some fancy gender reveal. We just found out. I am gonna announce the gender. I just don't know when or how, and there's not any weird ulterior motive reason for that. I'm not trying to do this big dramatic build up. I just genuinely want every gender announcement to be special, and I don't have an idea yet, but this baby is special, just as special as the last 2 babies, and they both had their own unique ideas for the gender announcement for them. So I just want it to be unique and creative and special, and I just haven't come up with that idea yet. So I'm working on it. Once I get an idea, I'll share it. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be dramatic or anything. I just don't know how to share it. Finding out the gender has been a trip as well because we tried to do the sneak peek test when I had just found out I was pregnant. We tried to do do the early sneak peek test, and the first time it was inconclusive, so we did it again and it was inconclusive again, and I was like, what is going on? So then we did NIPT testing, and after the NIPT testing, we had a private scan at like 15 weeks, and both of those matched up. So then now I have my anatomy scan coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're just gonna basically triple confirm there. And then after that, I'll definitely feel like, okay, that's definitely what we're having. But yeah, there's not like a reason that I haven't told you guys. It's just like literally, I don't know how. I don't have the right idea yet. But was baby number 3 planned? How many children do you think you'll have? So I don't even know how to answer this one. Like, was it planned? No. Like, we didn't sit down and have a conversation and say like we should start trying for another baby. However, we also weren't exactly preventing in the same way anymore. Like, I was meticulously tracking my cycles and like adamantly avoiding for the whole 2 years leading up to this. I was very careful, or I guess I should say, we were very careful and whatever, but we started to get really, really lax with it, and we're not dumb. Like, we know what can happen. We started to get really, really lax with it all, with the natural family planning, and it just happened. I don't know, like, but it wasn't the same level of like when I got pregnant with Graham. It was very like, whoa, like that's not what we wanted, that's not whatever, I don't know. But this time it was just kind of like, well, yep, like we could have been stricter, you know what I mean? I don't know. It wasn't exactly planned, but it wasn't exactly prevented. How many children do we think we'll have? I really can't answer that. I'm so freaking young. I just turned 25. So I don't know. Like, I always knew that I wanted to have 3 kids. Beyond having 3 kids, I don't really know. Like, it would be a while, that's for sure. Like, it would be years again before we have another one, but maybe we'll have a 4th. I just really don't know. Like, I don't have the answers to that right now. Somebody asked, what do you think you're having? And I don't feel like I can answer that without like giving away, like, I know what I'm having, so I can't answer that right now. But whenever I make a video, like, once you guys know the gender, then like I'll circle back and I'll answer that. But I just feel like any way that I answer that question is gonna like reveal like what I'm having, and I'm just like not ready for that yet. So I'll come back, I'll circle back to that. So anything about the gender is just gonna have to have its own like gender Q&A video, okay? Major differences in this pregnancy compared to the first and the second. So literally everything. My first and second pregnancy were very, very similar, with the exception of my second pregnancy being more severe in terms of sickness. So this time though, I haven't had like any morning sickness at all. The only sickness that I've had is literally because I've gotten sick. We got the flu and we got norovirus, and that's the only times that I've been sick. Other than that, I haven't had any sickness. And it was so wild that I had so much anxiety in the first trimester. Like, we got an early ultrasound with my OB because I was like, I don't have any symptoms. Like, is the baby okay? Like, what's going on? Yeah, as far as like things different, like everything's different. Like, my cravings are different. I feel like I'm carrying different. My symptoms are just different. Like, I feel like I got heartburn way earlier this time. I feel like I wasn't dealing with heartburn until my 3rd trimester with the other 2, but with this one, it's been like the whole time. But it's really just been like the lack of symptoms, because with the first 2 pregnancies, I had like every single symptom. Do I not have anything to wipe this? So with my first 2, I had like every symptom in the book, and then with this one, I just like don't have that many symptoms, and it's been weird. Like, I think I've been a lot more like mentally, I don't know, like unwell. I have not been the greatest mentally in this pregnancy. Physically, it's been pretty great, but mentally, not so much. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's also just been like, I've been super, super, super exhausted this time. Like, I literally asked the OB about it. Oh, and I've had a lot of headaches. But I asked the OB about my exhaustion. I was like, literally, what's going on? Like, I feel like I'm well into my 2nd trimester. I'm literally almost halfway there. Like, why am I still so exhausted that I like can't hardly function? And she literally told me, she's like, well, you know, like, I know that you're only 25, but our bodies are like designed to start having babies at like 13. So really, in terms of like childbearing age, like, you're getting closer to 30, you're getting, you know, your body is just tired, your body is gonna handle it differently than when you were 21 and whatever. And I was like, okay, fair. And then plus I have 2 toddlers already kicking my ass every day. So that's definitely been interesting. Like, this pregnancy has been a lot more like tiring, even though I don't have like all of the bazillion gajillion symptoms. But it's just been weird because like mentally I just feel so like exhausted. I can't think. Okay, I gotta go get Grant now. Okay, so unfortunately, when Grant woke up from his nap, he was not happy. So I had to calm him down for a little bit. I went ahead and just finished my nails because I just couldn't think straight trying to like do both. So I'm gonna try to do the questions now, and hopefully I won't be like, hopefully he'll be content out there playing now that he's calmed down. This is a little bit difficult because like everybody's questions are the same. I don't know. I asked like so many times to ask me questions that didn't have to do with the gender because I haven't announced it yet, but that's still like the only responses that I got. So I'm trying to dig through them and find the ones that aren't about that. So this person said, this isn't super deep, but are you getting a new car since you're adding a third baby? Long story short, no. We tested and made sure that 3 car seats would fit in the Jeep, and they do. So we're keeping that. We don't really have a choice either. Like, we are not in a position to just go buy a new car. Like, that would be great, sure, to have a 3-row car, but we're just not in a position to do that. Our loan is not in a position to do that. We definitely aren't about to take on 2 car payments. So at this position in our life and the goals that we have, such as buying a house and stuff like that, we can't get a new car right now. Maybe down the line I'll decide that I need it, but right now the Jeep will do just fine. We have plenty of space. Are you nervous transitioning from a mom of 2 to 3? I'm currently pregnant with 2 and I'm more scared of going to 2 than I was of 1. Yes, like I would be lying if I said I'm not nervous, but at the same time, like I don't really think it's gonna be that different. Like, I think that going from 0 to 1 was the hardest because you're going from like no responsibility to like a world of responsibility. 1 to 2 wasn't that bad for me, and I really don't think that 2 to 3 is gonna be that bad. Like, I just think that it's gonna be like the same. Like, it's always chaotic. It's always, you know, there's always somebody needing me. Like, I just don't think it'll be that bad. The kids are a lot older now than like Bentley was when I had Graham, so they're a lot more self-sufficient and a lot more independent and not so like attached to my hip all the time. I mean, Graham kind of is, but I think it'll be not that bad. I don't know. And maybe it's just because I know what to expect because I've been there, done that. I'm not like that nervous about it. I'm just more so nervous for the moments of overstimulation when I'm already like overstimulated with 2 kids and I'm like, great, there's gonna be like a newborn screaming, crying added into the mix. But they're only a newborn for like this long, so like it's really just not that bad. It's all so fleeting that I just know that I'm gonna blink and they'll be 1-year-old and then things get so much easier. So I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not that worried about it, but like, yes, like it's there, if that makes sense. What's your biggest concern for after you give birth? Honestly, this is gonna sound really selfish, but like I think that my biggest concern after giving birth is that I'm gonna struggle to get back into photography and get back into like running my business. Like even being pregnant, like it's taken a big hit on that for me because my energy levels aren't there and it's just been really hard, and I've taken a huge step back in like booking clients and stuff like that. I'm hopeful that after I have the baby, like I'm hopeful that I'm gonna be confident to book people for 2026, and I'm hopeful that like that year after I'm gonna like just jump right back into it. But the busy season for at least my geographic area is right when I give birth, so I'm basically missing out on this year because I'm gonna be on maternity leave. So I don't know, like my biggest concern is that I'm gonna struggle to get back into running my business, and that it's gonna be like too hard to do that and be away from the baby and like stuff like that. Like I don't know, I don't really know how to like explain it, but like my biggest concern after birth has to do with like my business and running my business. How do you equally balance out spending time with each kid in the hubby as well as yourself? That is a great question. I feel like for me, a lot of it comes from separate nap times. Like they each nap on their own. They don't nap at the same time. So when one of them is napping, I'm typically spending time with the other, and then vice versa. And then the husband, it's either grandma and grandpa are watching the kids, or we spend time together at night after the kids are in bed, and try to sometimes have like intentional time of not using our phones and things like that. Like we try to just make do with the best that we have. And then time for myself, it really just comes from communicating with my husband and telling him when I need a break or when I need a night to myself or a weekend to go hang out with my friend or something like that. But I also have spent so long in the mindset of like it's not my turn, and that like this is the season of little kids. This is the season of like being there for them and attending to them and whatever. And that had just sort of started to shift as my, you know, kids are 3 and 2 and becoming more independent. I was able to have that time for myself to do my photography and to do my own thing. Now starting over with another like newborn, it's gonna be a trip. And when I'm so outnumbered, I don't exactly know, because like there's pretty much always going to be 2 kids awake together. Like I'm not going to be able to just trade off naps anymore. So I don't know how exactly I'm going to balance time individually with each kid once all 3 of them are in the mix. But that's probably just going to come down to like planning individual days, like on the weekend, where it's like one weekend of each month is like designated to like going and taking one of the kids out on like some little mommy and me date, you know? Like, I think where there's a will, there's a way. It's just a matter of like making the time. Are you nervous having a baby in a completely new state in hospital, assuming it's a hospital? Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I actually, fun fact, completely panicked when I got pregnant, and like I panicked about not having my OB that I'm used to, because my OB in Oklahoma was so amazing. I literally love her to death, and I panicked about being with a whole new team here, and I was like, we should move back to Oklahoma. Like we literally, I contemplated going back to Oklahoma solely because of my OB, but obviously came to terms with everything. It was like, maybe we're being crazy. If you follow my Instagram, then you've also kind of seen me talking about like my first OB that I was using here was like not great. I didn't like her, and she was just very dismissive and not very attentive, and she just seemed like she like didn't care to be there, and like I don't know, like it just gave the impressions that like I'm wasting her time by being there. And so I'm still nervous in the sense of that she's in the same office still. Like I switched to a different midwife OB in that office, but she's still one of them. So I'm nervous that she's gonna be the one on call when I give birth, and I don't really know what I'm gonna do about that, because I really don't want her. Like she made me really uncomfortable, so I'm just not sure. Like if she's the one on call, like I would rather have a home birth, which is crazy to say because I'm not that person. Like that scares me. But also I don't know, I really didn't like her. But this new OB that I'm with, midwife, whatever, she has been great so far, and I see her again after my anatomy scan. So I'm excited to kind of like keep seeing how that goes. But yes, I'm definitely very nervous about having a new team. I full-heartedly believe that if I didn't have the team that I had when I gave birth to Graham, that like he would not be here today. Like my OB was so attentive, and she wasn't even supposed to be there. Like she was not the on-call OB, and she came in because things weren't going great with Graham, and that his heart rate was, he was really in distress, and we were really close to having to get a C-section. And her attentiveness and skill and knowledge and everything that she did while I was in labor, or yeah, like while I was actively pushing, saved his life. Like you can't change my mind about that. So it's just scary to not have her when I'm so comfortable with her. I am in a great area of the country in the sense of like there's absolutely phenomenal medical care here, and I just have to trust and have faith that like God has me exactly where he needs me. And yeah, I'm just really like leaning on God through the whole thing, because I'm really actually pretty scared for labor and delivery this time, just because my body's older. I have 2 kids at home that need me, and it's just, I don't know, the more kids you have, for me personally, the more kids I have, the more scared I get to go into labor, because you just don't know what could happen. So praying on that. Would you consider a newborn photographer or for the hospital, or are you doing it yourself? I'm doing it myself. I'm gonna have my husband do it. I've got him a little bit trained, just a little bit, but I'm 100% gonna bring my fancy camera and do photos like in labor and postpartum, like fresh 48, whatever. Like I'm gonna take newborn photos and labor photos, and I'm really actually quite excited to have birthing photos that aren't taken on an iPhone now that I'm like doing this photography thing, and I have such a better like skill level when it comes to editing and stuff like that. I'm really excited, but I can't hire somebody because 1, that's just not where I want to put my money at, and 2, I'm not comfortable with somebody that I don't know, I'm not comfortable with a photographer being there for that. So I'm not even comfortable hardly with like anybody but my husband being there. So yeah, I'm just gonna have him do it. Is there anything that you want to be different during your birthing process versus birthing your other 2? The epidural. I had the epidural with both of the other 2, and I'm really thinking that I want to go without it this time. Oh, I think I also had Pitocin. I know I had Pitocin with Bentley. I can't remember if I had Pitocin with Graham or not. I can't remember, but I don't want the epidural. I don't think I do, especially because when I had Graham, my epidural didn't wear off for over 24 hours. So it was literally a whole 24 hours later, and I still could not feel my left leg. And it was really scary, honestly. And like even the doctor was like, yeah, that's not supposed to happen. So that's freaky. I just don't know about a 3rd spinal tap, and I definitely feel like I have some residual back problems from having an epidural. But I don't know. I don't know, because it also scares me to not have it, and I get scared. Sorry, there was just something in my eye. I get scared that I'm gonna get to a point where I feel like I can't do it anymore, but that I'm still gonna have so much farther to go. Like I have really long labors. Like I don't have like a 3-hour labor. Like I have really long labors, like 2-3 days long of laboring and contracting, like inactive labor. Like not even just like, oh, prodromal labor. No, like I have really long active labors. It takes hours and hours and hours. So it's really exhausting. And that's where the epidural has been so helpful in the past, because I was able to rest and let my body rest to have the strength. So I don't know. That's another thing that I'm praying on. It just all makes me so nervous. I don't know why. I'm just so nervous about birth this time. Maybe it's because it's not back to back, like, and it's been a while now since I've done it. And it doesn't feel like, oh, like, I got that. Like, I know what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm, like, freaked out. But I think I want to go, like, all natural. Like, I want to have no Pitocin. I want to have no epidural. Like, if I could do it in a tub, that would be great. But there's only, like, limited rooms for that. So, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But I would like for it to be different. I made it to 7 centimeters with Graham without the epidural. So, I feel like I can do it. But I'm scared of, like, going through the transition phase of labor without it. I don't know. Is there anything different or any new rules or things you want to do differently with this baby versus your first? I don't know about rules. Like, I think that overall I'm a lot more lax than I was before. Like, I had so many rules before, and like, don't come see us, don't bug us, like this, that, and the other. Like, don't kiss the baby, don't breathe in the baby's direction. Like, when I had my first, I was like so terrified, and it was also like COVID and just like all of the things. Like, it was a really stressful time to be pregnant. Not that it's not stressful to be pregnant anyway, but I don't know. I feel like I'm overall a lot more lax with this baby. Things that I want to do differently though, like I want to be a little bit more adamant about making my breastfeeding journey work. Like, I want to like try lactation consultants more and try to find a solution more. If there's tongue ties, lip ties, I want to try resolving them and see if that helps with the breastfeeding, because with the other two, I didn't. Like, I know that they have lip ties, but I didn't get them corrected. And so I just don't know. Like, I think I want to be a little bit more adamant about making the breastfeeding work. But at the same time, like, I don't want to, I don't know the word, but like, I don't want to damage myself in doing so. So I still have like that rule for myself that like, if my mental health is slipping because of breastfeeding, then it's time to do formula. I don't know. The other thing that we're like on the fence about right now is vaccines. And I know that that's probably a really hot topic at the moment, but we have just been increasingly aware of both sides of the argument. And we used to just be kind of like blindly following and like vaccinating them and giving them all of the up-to-date vaccines and shots and da-da-da-da-da. But lately we've just been kind of holding back a little bit and trying to like really do our own research and figure out what we feel about it. We are really at a position right now of 50-50. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't. Like, and I'm not one that's gonna go like on the internet and like make controversial videos just to get like a conversation started, because like, I really don't care to argue. I just want to be informed and make the decision that I feel is best. And that's what I don't know yet. Like, I don't know what decision I think is best. So I don't feel like I should go yap about it. You know what I mean? So that's probably the only real thing that's like different this time, is that we're trying to figure out how we feel about vaccines. Otherwise, I feel like everything is just pretty much gonna be the same. Another person asked, is this your last baby? I don't know. I'm too young to say. I just always say that I can't say it's my last until like he has a vasectomy, or like I am no longer, like I'm in menopause or something. Like, I just can't say. It's God's plan. Like, I am a believer in that I don't believe in birth control. So unless it's a vasectomy or I'm in menopause, then natural family planning is the way that we are going, and all in God's plan. Whatever God wants for our life is exactly what's gonna happen. Are you finding out the gender, sharing the name this time around? Yes. Finding out the gender, yes, I'm gonna share the gender. Sharing the name, I will share the name at birth. I probably won't share the name prior to, because I never do, because I feel like picking a name is such a personal and like honestly tough decision that I don't really want anybody else swaying it. We like to just do that completely on our own, and then once the baby's born and named, like nobody can say anything, because what are you gonna do? It's like, you know what I mean? Everybody just says, how did you know you wanted a third? Like, how did you know it was time for a third? And like I said like earlier, like it wasn't exactly planned in that way. It wasn't like, okay, let's have a baby. So I don't really feel like I have an answer for that, other than just that in hindsight I can feel like I can say that I see why God did it, because I am in a completely different position now. I've like mentally grown a lot, and I feel like I'm in a just different mental space, and I'm healed physically and mentally to a point where like I can be a great mother for this baby. Like, I don't know how to not sound super cheesy, but just like, it's been such a healing and transformative like pregnancy that it's just like so clear like that this is what was meant to be, and that I had got my physical health where it needed to be, so much so to the point that I didn't have morning sickness and things like that, because everything in my body was right. And then being in a good place mentally and whatever, like leaning on God through the hard moments and all that. Like, I don't know. I just feel like mentally I was there. And it was like, I don't know. I don't have like a valid answer for that because it wasn't like a full like a decision sit down that that happened. But are you more of a newborn phase mom or a toddler mom? Currently 26 weeks here. Oh man, I don't know. Honestly, I think that in hindsight, the newborn phase is the easy phase. I think they're so much harder as toddlers. If the first time mom version of me heard myself saying that now, I would like want to slap her. But like, I really think in hindsight that having a newborn is so much easier than having a toddler because newborns sleep all the time. Yes, they wake up all the time, but they also sleep all the time and they don't move. Like they're just like there and they don't talk and they don't like, they're so much easier. Like, I'm sorry, like maybe it sounds, I don't know. My 3-year-old is very, very, very difficult and has behavioral problems and definitely has ADHD. It's really hard and he's really defiant, and I don't say this to like bash on him. I just say this because these are just the facts that we deal with, and we know that there's like something different about him because our 2-year-old is nothing like this and like not the same level of difficult at all. It also just makes me feel like I'm not crazy. I don't know how to explain it, but like our 2-year-old is easy in comparison and our 3-year-old is so difficult that it just makes me feel like, okay, like when people say like it's not that bad, like they have a kid like my 2-year-old, they don't have a kid like my 3-year-old, and the only people that understand what my 3-year-old is like are the people who have one just like it, and you just don't get it until you live it. And it's not normal 3-year-old behavior, it is so far beyond it. And so I just definitely think that the toddler phase, while it's amazing to like see their personalities come about and hear their voices and hear them talking and walking and playing and doing all these things, like the newborn phase is way easier. I don't know if I could like actually pick one that's better though, because every pro comes with a con. Like they both have their pros and cons, and I don't really know that one is better than the other. How was norovirus while pregnant? Because what, I died when I had it and I wasn't pregnant. It was bad. I literally thought I was dying, and I was so worried about the baby because I was so dehydrated. I literally could not keep anything down. One sip of water and I was like violently throwing up. I lost count of how many times I threw up. It was so bad. I've never ever been that sick. It was so horrible. And the weird thing is my husband didn't get it, and my kids only had like diarrhea. They didn't have the throwing up. So I think it just hit me so hard because I was pregnant and my immune system was so like low. But it was pretty awful. Like it was worse than having the flu when we had the flu in December while I was pregnant. Like that. So yeah, wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. What are the baby kicks feeling like? Gentle tapping. Probably a little bit stronger than gentle tapping, like just lately. I do have an anterior placenta, so I don't feel as much as if I would have had a posterior placenta. I've never had that though. I've had an anterior placenta every time. But I was feeling like the gentle taps and little flutters pretty early on. And now I'm just getting to a point where the kicks are like powerful kicks. Like they're not like kicks you can see from the outside, but I can definitely feel them. And they're definitely getting to a point where it's like reactive. Like when I'm poking my belly, like the baby kicks back and things like that. And I'll be like sitting, like this morning even, I was eating my breakfast and drinking my coffee and just like sitting, and I could just like feel the baby just like kicking away, moving and wiggling. And so I can definitely tell that I'm getting to that point where like it's about to get intense, like for real. But I think it's still more than like a gentle tapping, because like I can definitely feel like some big kicks. I don't know. I never know how to explain fetal movement. How are you finding pregnancy with 2 toddlers? Very difficult, very exhausting, very overstimulating. I'm constantly like, I'm just so hormonal. I think that's the thing. Like this pregnancy, I've been so hormonal, and you mix that with like the toddlers and like patience and stuff, and it's been hard. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's been hard. I think that might be about it. This person said, what do you do during maternity leave? It's so boring. I think it's supposed to be boring though, because you're supposed to be like healing and stuff like that. Like I've never really had like a true maternity leave because I wasn't working. Like when I was pregnant with my first, I was waitressing at Cracker Barrel, but I quit around 27 weeks, 28 weeks, something like that. I quit right around there. So then I wasn't going back after, and then I haven't worked since. When I had my second, I literally didn't have a job. I was just doing social media. And then, so this time I have my photography business and I'm taking a maternity leave before I like start shooting again and whatever. But I don't know, because I've never had a true maternity leave. I would just say to focus on your body healing and resting, and, you know, lean on other people and let them do the cleaning and the cooking and stuff, and find a good show to binge watch or learn how to knit. That's something I kind of want to do postpartum this time. I kind of want to learn how to knit. I think it would be fun. I don't know. Like I see the cutest little several things of people making these little like stuffies from knitting, and I want to do it. Should we start like a knitting club? Like, do you guys want to learn how to knit with me postpartum? I think it would be so fun. Like, just like a little like postpartum activity. That's what I'm gonna do. That's my answer. Oh man. Are you gonna do a labor and delivery vlog? Yeah, yes, that's probably my favorite video I've ever made to date. I love that video. That video makes me cry. That video made me cry over and over again editing it. That video is a memory that I'm gonna have forever, and I don't even care if 180,000 people on the internet have watched it. Like, that's a little bit weird, but I'm fine with it because I know how many labor and delivery vlogs I watched when I was pregnant with my first and my second, and I'm probably gonna do it again this time because you just hit a point in pregnancy somewhere in the third trimester where you just start watching every labor and delivery vlog that you can find. Every single one. I'm not even kidding you. Every single one. And especially when you're at like 36, 7, 8, and 9 weeks, you start looking up like 37-week delivery, 38 weeks pregnant labor and delivery. Like, you start looking them all up because you want the hope that you're gonna go into labor at that time. It's my favorite video that I have ever made, and it's my favorite memory to have captured, and I'm 110% gonna be doing it again. 110%. Do you sleep train your babies? I don't know, define sleep training. Like, I don't know. I feel like nowadays with social media, like, that term has gotten super misconstrued. Like, I don't really know what sleep training even is anymore because people have twisted it so much. Like, I don't know. Our second, we literally did nothing special. Like, we didn't do no cry it out method. We didn't do anything. Like, he just was a good sleeper. Like, we literally would put him in there with a bottle and he would go to sleep, and like we just never had to care or try. And he's literally weaned himself off of everything completely on his own. Like, he weaned himself from his bottles because we got him these little like sippy lids that go right onto the like Avon bottle, so it looks like a bottle to him, but it's a sippy cup lid, and he took it like a dream. And we were worried that we were like, oh my gosh, like, how are we gonna get him off the milk? Well, one day he just started asking for juice, and so we switched it to juice, and next we'll switch it to water. So we've just done everything so on his pace and not like forced anything, but at the same time, like, we've never really had an issue with sleep for him. We've never had like issues with him like crying in his room and not wanting to go to sleep. Like, he always just like has his little bottle of whatever it is and goes to sleep. But our first was a lot different. He struggles with it, but he doesn't like cry. Like, he'll just be in there and like, he's literally napping right now. He'll just be in there and like play with his toys or like go through his books or like just like mind his business until he crashes. And so we see nothing wrong with that either. Like, we don't like just let them sit in there and wail and cry because my brain literally will not let me. But at the same time, like, I also don't have any judgment towards anybody who does, because when you're in the trenches, you do what you gotta do and you survive. So I don't know, if you sleep train your babies, cool. If you don't, cool. If you co-sleep with them, cool. Like, to me, it just really doesn't matter. As long as you're all safe and happy and loved, like, that's what matters. So yeah, I don't know. But we don't like do the cry it out method if that's what you're really asking. Because I feel like when people ask if you sleep train, they're really asking if you're doing cry it out. No, our babies are not crying in their room. And especially the young ones. Like, we don't even care about sleep until, I don't know, like maybe close to a year. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't. If they wake up needing to eat, oh my god, especially newborns, like, what? I don't know at what age, because we just like don't pay attention to that. Am I making any sense? Probably not. But like with Graham, like, it was just not even a thing I thought about. Like, I just have always, if he wakes up needing something at night, like, then he gets it. But he's always been such a good sleeper and slept through the night. So I don't know. I don't think we do anything special or crazy. No, this is really the last one. What is your favorite and least favorite thing about being pregnant? My favorite thing about being pregnant is having a cute baby bump, I think, or feeling the baby kicks. That's another good one. My least favorite thing about being pregnant is the hormones and like lack of mental control, if that makes any sense. Like, I just hate feeling like I don't have control over my emotions and stuff. That's probably up there. Unless I'm sick. Like, that's just with this pregnancy specifically. Like, with my last pregnancy, the sickness, hands down. But I think that is officially all of the questions. So if you have any more questions, let me know. I'm gonna have to do like an entire gender Q&A video because literally 90% of the questions that I actually got have to do with gender. So once I announce the gender, I will do a whole new Q&A on that so that you guys can ask me all of the things you want to ask me about, like if I wanted one or the other, what I thought I was having or think I'm having or whatever. Like, any of your questions surrounding the gender, we'll do a whole nother dedicated video for after I tell you guys what I'm having. I will figure out how to announce that to you guys ASAP, because honestly I don't like keeping secrets. It's like hard for me, so I need to figure out how to announce it so that like the cat can be out of the bag. But yeah, I just want to come up with a creative idea, so I don't want to do something that like everybody's done. Like I'm not going to do the cake cutting thing because literally everybody's doing that and it's just unoriginal. So I'll come up with something. It'll be cute, it'll be creative. But yeah, so if you have any other questions, just like comment them below. I don't know, I'm sorry if I didn't get your question. I tried to get all of the questions that aren't repeats of other questions, but if I missed you, I'm really sorry. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.